Unfortunately, there is a lot of fake information out there about what works and what doesn't work when it comes to selling final expense insurance. Trust me, the last thing that you want to do is get involved with a company where your manager or trainer, upline, or whatever, the person that recruited you has not absolutely mastered the art of final expense sales. That's why I work with all the agents on our sales team. And if we haven't met, my name is Douglas Massi, and just a little FYI about myself. In my very first calendar year, I wrote over $400,000 of annualized premium selling final expense insurance. Yes, as a top producer, I was the #1 agent for 5-Star Life Insurance Company back in 2014, and then Security National Life's #1 producer 3 years in a row. So when I tell you that I have a system that can practically guarantee your success selling final expense insurance, I am not just spitting out a bunch of marketing dribble. In this video, I'm going to go over everything that you're going to want to know about how to be successful in your first year selling final expense insurance. Coming right up, so stick around. If you're new to our YouTube channel, Final Expense Trainer, we highly recommend that you subscribe, and I'm also going to ask that you give this video a thumbs up right now so that we know you're watching. And if you're new to the final expense sales industry, you should definitely check out, and I would say take note of this, check out our playlist called FE Training 101, as this playlist has videos that touch on the entire process of selling final expense from soup to nuts. The first thing that I want to touch on is final expense leads. Look, our industry is completely lead driven, so you have to have at least a couple $1,000s put aside for leads. It's just par for the course. It has to be done. It's what we do. That's why all the successful, the big hitters, the big time final expense agents have no problem at all spending hundreds, even potentially thousands of dollars a week so that they can hit the numbers that they want to hit. There's a reason that only 10% of the people in the final expense industry write like 90% of the policies out there. So let me be clear, it will be almost impossible for you to even cut through the learning curve without having at least a bare minimum of maybe 20 to 25 final expense direct mail leads, or even maybe Facebook leads every single week. Direct mail leads are still the king. Without the financial ability to commit to working weekly leads through your first few months in the final expense sales industry, you're probably just wasting your time and should just go do something else. When you've got a couple $1,000 put aside for the leads, then come back to selling final expense insurance, because that money may be your only chance to be successful in our industry. And guys, look, as always, I'm shooting you straight, so I'm just telling you like it is. Remember, I'm making the suggestions, you're making all the decisions. This is why agents on our sales team are required to purchase fresh final expense leads every single week. And I'm not talking about those cheap, resold $5 internet leads either. We're talking fresh leads that are never resold and are specifically generated for you or the agent in their territory. Before I get into the insurance carriers that you're going to need, if you stick around all the way to the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the prop file that has the exact props that I use during every single final expense sales presentation. You're going to want this bad boy for all your presentations too. Having the right insurance carriers is also very important. Now, you'll want to have a few carriers that not only will insure most people, but will also cover the main health situations that are most common for the seniors that we see and sell to. In most parts of the country, you'll need your main carrier to be priced very competitively. That's why I teach our agents to have a main carrier that is going to be the one with some of the best prices in their state, in the agent's state, of course, and has also some of the easiest underwriting. So if you were one of the agents on my sales team, we'd be having a conversation about the best carrier for you to lead with that is specifically for you. Most insurance agencies start with agents with what I call unnecessarily low commission levels. If you are willing to put your money where your mouth is and are willing to fork out at least $500 a week on leads, you should at least have fair first-year commissions. Unless, of course, maybe, I don't know, you're working out of a local office that is giving you a discount deal on the leads and they're giving you face-to-face sales training. I mean, unless that's happening, there's no reason for your first-year commissions to be less than 100% on your main products. Again, unless someone is holding your hand through the learning curve, your first-year commission should absolutely be 100% or even higher. The multi-level marketing insurance agencies all start their agents around 60 to 80% first-year commissions. There's one of them that calls it their 100% level, and their 100% level on all the carriers is like 80% and less, so beware. In my opinion, this is just too low for the agents, but it does work well for the upline managers and those insurance agencies. Think about it. You're basically splitting your commission with them, so they really should love you. The MLM companies are designed to burn and churn through the agents and, in my opinion, should be avoided at all costs if you're serious about selling final expense successfully. In most cases, you'll notice the manager that recruited you isn't selling much insurance at all and most likely has very little success at selling the product that he's recruited you to sell. To me, this is just a sign that you're probably getting ripped off and should go find yourself another place to work. We've talked about how important it is to have leads, and just to be clear, my favorite lead, and I know I kind of hinted on this earlier, has always been the final expense direct mail lead card. These are also the most expensive leads, but with these type of leads, you can target specific zip codes and get in front of more people that match our exact target marketing criteria. We've also talked about having the right insurance products and getting fair commissions. The next thing I want to talk about is work ethic and talent, because both will absolutely be necessary for your success. Final expense sales is not the type of thing where you work your own schedule and go out and make lots of money part-time. It's just not realistic. In your first year, if you want to get through the learning curve and get a lot of good momentum going, you should be willing to work as much as humanly possible, at least 60 hours per week. That would actually, if done right, in the best areas for the right people, put you on target to make over $100,000 in your second year. Man, by working your butt off, this type of work ethic will guarantee that you learn the business quick enough to actually see success in your first year too. Therefore, the talent will naturally come immediately after. Here's how I see it. If you're a desperate, starving life insurance agent, you'll probably always be desperate and starving unless you change. I mean, don't take this wrong, but you probably need to change the way that you think, the way that you work, everything. Look, again, I'm just shooting you straight. I'm telling it like it is. Don't shoot the messenger, please. Now, business-minded people do really, really good with final expense sales because they understand that spending $1,000 a week makes perfect sense when that outcome actually turns into them grossing around $3,000 per week. Tripling your investment in a way that guarantees you'll make over $100,000 per year is why, well, it's why I sell final expense insurance. At least that's why Mariana, my wife, and I got into the business. For a copy of the prop file that I mentioned earlier in the video, or if you'd like to know more about working with me, being part of our sales team at United Final Expense Services, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. Remember, always put the needs of your clients first, and everything else should fall right into place. Now, get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.